Have you ever been on a night bus and suddenly felt like something around you wasn't quite right? Not obviously wrong, just this quiet, heavy feeling that reality had shifted a little. The lights looked the same, the people looked the same, but deep down you could feel that something was off. Like the world had tilted slightly, and now everything was almost normal, but not completely. I went through that once on a night bus from Chicago to New York. After that night, I've never been able to look at overnight buses the same way. It started out pretty normal. I had to get to New York for work, so I bought a ticket on the Greyhound. It was the overnight bus, leaving at 10:40 p.m., almost 18 hours on the road. I'd taken these buses before, so I knew what to expect. The terminal, boarding, trying to sleep, a few stops, and waking up in another city. Nothing special. The Chicago terminal at night looked exactly how I remembered it. Dim lights, that old coffee smell from the vending machines, tired people sitting quietly or staring at their phones. The announcements over the speakers that nobody really paid attention to. Just that usual feeling of a place where everyone's waiting to be taken somewhere. I sat down and waited for boarding. I didn't feel anything strange at the time. Looking back now, I think that calm was actually the first sign that something was already wrong. Like my body hadn't caught up yet. When they finally called for boarding, I walked out to the platform. The bus was already there. Above the windshield, the sign said, New York. I looked at it and, for a split second, I felt something shift inside me. Like the image flickered. For a moment, it didn't look like New York at all. Just some weird symbols I couldn't make sense of. I blinked, and it was back to normal. I told myself I was just tired. I got on the bus and took a seat near the back, by the window. I put my backpack on the seat next to me and put my headphones on. The first few hours were fine. The city slowly disappeared behind us, replaced by dark fields and occasional lights from gas stations. The engine had that steady, droning sound that almost puts you to sleep. I dozed off a couple of times and woke up without knowing how much time had passed. Everything still felt normal. The first stop was around 1 a.m. The bus pulled into a gas station. Some people got off. I stayed inside. That's when he got on. He was tall and thin, wearing an old leather jacket. Nothing about him stood out at first, just another passenger. But as he walked down the aisle, something about him felt off. His face looked assembled wrong. Like someone had tried to remember what a normal person looked like, but couldn't quite get it right. He walked past me and paused for a second. He looked down at my ticket on the seat, then glanced up at me and smiled. It wasn't a real smile. It was just his mouth moving the way it was supposed to. Then he kept walking and sat down 2 rows in front of me. At first, I didn't think much of it. But after a while, I started noticing that he kept turning around, slowly. Like turning his head took effort. And every time I happened to look up, he was already staring at me. Not catching me in the act of looking, he was already looking. Like he knew exactly when I would glance his way. This kept happening. By 3 a.m., the bus had gotten noticeably quieter. The engine was still running the same, but the silence inside felt thicker than it should have been. Even the lights seemed a little dimmer, though nobody had touched anything. People around me were sitting still. Some were asleep, others just stared straight ahead. The longer I looked at them, the more it felt like they weren't just regular passengers anymore. Like they were all connected to whatever was happening inside that bus. The man in the leather jacket had stopped turning around. He just sat there, facing forward. But somehow, that made it worse. It didn't feel like he had stopped paying attention. It felt like his attention had become constant. I checked my phone. 3:17. For some reason, that time stuck in my head. When I looked up again, he was already staring at me. And that's when it started to really bother me. Not because he was looking, but because it felt like he had never stopped. The next stop was around 4 a.m. The bus slowed down and pulled off the highway, but there was no gas station or rest stop. Just an empty lot with a single light and heavy darkness all around. I got off to get some air. The moment I stepped outside, something felt wrong with the air itself. It wasn't cold or warm, it just felt empty. Like it was missing something that air is supposed to have. When I got back on the bus, I immediately knew something had changed. My backpack had been moved. The man was sitting in my seat like it was completely normal. I didn't say anything. I just grabbed my bag and sat where he had been sitting before. He didn't react at all. And that's when I really started to get scared. Because I realized it wasn't just about him anymore. It was the bus itself that was starting to feel wrong. After that, things got worse. The other passengers didn't look like tired travelers anymore. Whenever one of them glanced at me, their eyes were empty. No curiosity, no irritation, just this calm, waiting look. Like they already knew how this was going to end, and I didn't. My phone kept showing 3:17 no matter how many times I checked it. The screen above the driver was completely black. No route, no time, nothing. Just a dark rectangle. The road outside started repeating itself. The same trees, the same road signs, over and over, but slightly different each time. Like the landscape wasn't moving forward, it was looping, glitching. At one of the stops, I got off again. And that's when I understood something was seriously wrong. There was no road behind the bus. No highway, no tire marks, just darkness. Thick, heavy darkness, like the bus had always been sitting there. I stood there staring, and for the first time, I couldn't remember how long I'd been on the road. Time didn't feel measurable anymore. When I got back inside, the man in the leather jacket turned his head and looked at me. He spoke quietly, barely moving his lips. "Don't look at the time." I checked my phone anyway. 3:17. That's when I finally understood. This wasn't a glitch. It wasn't exhaustion. It was a fixed state. I was stuck in it, along with this bus, that had stopped being a normal bus a long time ago. The bus started moving again. I didn't hear the engine turn on. The road ahead didn't look like a road anymore. It just looked like more of the same darkness we'd never really left. And the only thing I was sure of was this. If this was supposed to be the route to New York, then I had already arrived. I just didn't know where.